this attend this lesson may do us. Get us such and may be able to understand each and everything our chair is going to teach us and go out with something at least. I've prayed all this believing and trusting in your Son Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Wonderful prayer. I would like to thank Edify Uganda and also Christian Schools Owners Association and ICT Teachers Association of Uganda for such an arrangement to ensure that our lessons move on, however much people are still at home. But we pray very hard that by next year we will be going back to school. So previously we had some work which we had covered, and we are looking at joint stock companies, about some of the characteristics of joint stock companies which we looked at last time. So I will request that you put up your hand, then you share with us some of them. Actually, I still see your hand up. Are you giving us an answer? Ashley?
Question about what you said last week.
Yeah, characteristics of joint stock companies.
A company is an artificial person distinct from its owners. It can own property, borrow and lend out money. The capital of the company is raised by sales of shares, and a company can enter into contract with an individual.
Okay, thank you so much for those characteristics given to us. I would like to encourage you to do the assignments, because you may find that I've been looking at your work, but it seems some of you haven't done some assignments. So I call upon you to do those assignments. So today we are going to look at formation of a company, because you may see that we are looking at different companies. We have looked at private limited companies and also public limited companies. Now we want to see how the formation of a company can be handled. So by the end of the lesson, at least you people will be in position to give me 3 documents which are required when forming a company. Then you list 3 types of shares and 4 types of debentures, and even you will be in position to give differences between shares and debentures. So when we look at the formation of a company, so you may find that in one way or the other, there are some procedures which someone has to go through when starting either a private company or a public company. So in one way or the other, the people who intend to start a company, or whom we can call promoters, have to write to the registrar of companies. And you may find that the registrar of companies is within town. So in application for having a company, you may find that there is a document, which document has to be prepared. And that is one of the documents which we have started with. That is the Memorandum of Association. So Memorandum of Association, you may find that if you are to start a company, you need such a document. Why do you have to prepare that document? That document actually actually the activities in for which the company is going to carry out, and also the objectives of the company, why the company has been formed. So those objectives have to be well stipulated in that document. Then secondly, there is article of association or articles of association. Such a document, it lays out the rules and regulations which will control the business internal affairs. So the article of association, we look at it as the constitution of the company. Therefore, any company is supposed to have rules and regulations. That is the reason why it is required when you are registering a company to prepare an article of association, which is like a constitution showing rules and regulations for the formation of the company. Then we look at the certificate of incorporation. So the certificate of incorporation, you may find that after those two documents we have looked at, the first one, the memorandum of association, the article of association, and you may find that in one way or the other, the registrar of companies is satisfied with those two documents. He goes ahead to give you a document known as the certificate of incorporation. So the certificate of incorporation, it puts the company into existence. So it is the one which actually shows that the company has become a separate legal entity. Therefore, in one way or the other, once you receive that certificate of incorporation, automatically it means that the company has been put into existence and it is known in the country. Then number 4, we look at the trading certificate. So that trading certificate, it gives a company, a go-ahead to start business activities. So it empowers a company to start operating, to start carrying on business. So you may find that in one way or the other, that is a go-ahead for the company to start operating once it receives the certificate, once it receives the trading certificate. Then we have the prospectus. The prospectus is a document which is issued basically to public companies. The prospectus is provided in order to give a permission, like public company, to be in position to sell out shares to the public. So you may find that that is the document which gives guarantee to the public company that you will be in position to sell out shares to the public. That is the reason why you may find that for a private company, it cannot freely sell shares because for it is not given a prospectus. Someone is having a hand. Sheena, is there any question? I can see your hand up before we move on to our next document. Sheena, any question? Okay. So let us move. Any question? Yeah, you are excused. You are excused. You are excused. You are excused. I'm waiting for your question. I'm Is this the first time? Pardon? Yeah, so that is our first slide. However much you may find that shows that it's supposed to be slide number 4, but actually that is where I've started from. Formation of the company and documents which are prepared when you are forming a company. So that is so far what we are handling. And those are the documents I've looked at. Pardon? Shina? Okay, let me proceed. Lastly, we have the list of directors. So you may find that in some books that document is left out, but in one way or the other, you may find that it is also one of the documents required. You have to show people or the directors of a particular company. So in one way or the other, that is also another document which is prepared. Then we look at share. So what is a share? A share is a unit of capital of a limited liability company. So you may find that as an individual, you can contribute money to start your own business. You may find that also in a company, there is need for capital. But for them, how do they have that capital? So they have the capital through the sale of shares. That is the reason why we are looking at the share as a unit of capital of a limited liability company. A person who contributes to the share of a company by buying shares is known as a shareholder. So you may find that any person who buys a share towards the contribution of the capital in a company, you may find that that person is known as a shareholder. And to confirm that that person indeed bought a share in the company is issued with a share certificate. So a share certificate, you may find that it is a document which indeed confirms that a particular person was in position to buy a share in the company. So a shareholder, after buying a share, is given a share certificate. Null, I can see one up. Is there any question?
Yeah.
You can ask. Yes.
Like, about how much is a share?
About how much is a share? Thank you very much for that question. So it depends to a company. So you may find that in one way or the other, different companies have different amounts. For example, when Umeme was turning into a public limited company, they decided to sell each share at 700. So at 700, that was the amount for Umeme. Sometime back, DFCU, they were selling their shares, each share at 900. So it depends upon a particular company. Yeah, Jeremy, also I can see you hand up. Jeremy.
What other word can we give to the prospectus?
Prospectus, you may find that in one way or the other, that is basically the name which is used. So you may find that we have it as prospectus. Thank you so much. Is there any other person? I can see Tendo. Tendo, I can see your hand up.
Sham, so I was asking, is this a senior one?
This is senior 2.
Senior 2.
Sheena, I can see your hand up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pardon me, the meaning of the word prospectus.
Pardon? I beg your
Pardon, the
pardon?
meaning of the word prospectus.
Yeah.
Pardon the meaning of the word prospectus.
It is okay. It is okay. Prospectus is a document. Which document is given out to a public company in order to give it authority to sell off its shares to the public. So that is the prospectus. Mr. Dumba, is there something to put across?
Yeah, I wanted to compliment what you were saying about shares. MTN 2 days ago launched, it was 3
Yes,
days
sir.
ago. They are also selling their shares, and each share is at 200 shillings.
Okay. Mr. Dumba, thank you so much. Yeah, for such information. So our learners already, MTN, one of the prominent companies we are having in Uganda, they are also selling their shares at only 200. Learners, you can be in position shares on such information to your parents to buy, Mr. Dumba, basically for ordinary shareholders. So you may find that ordinary shareholders
Teacher, we are not getting you. They are breaking.
controlling rates and dividends. If I talk about define ordinary shares before they all about preference shareholder. After shareholders sorry for that. It was a challenge with the network, but thank God I'm back, and I want to make sure that I share my screen with you. Yeah, so far we are looking at now the two shares, ordinary shares, and we are also looking at preference shares. So as I've told you, you may find that ordinary shareholders, before they receive their dividends, in one way or the other, preference shareholders are the ones to receive their dividends before ordinary shareholders receiving. And you may find that preference shares here, they have a fixed percentage of dividends. For example, you may find that if a shareholder has to earn dividends, his dividends may be around 10%. So with the preference shares, the dividends are fixed with a given percentage, which is not the case with ordinary shares. So with preference shares, you may find that here, for them, their dividends, what they are supposed to earn, the profits they are supposed to please, some of you are having, please. So, I was talking about preference shares. Here for them, when it comes to dividends, they have a fixed percentage of dividends. So under preference shares, we have other types of preference shares. One is accumulative shares. Accumulative shares. When we talk about cumulative shares and preference shares, here the dividends which are supposed to be earned, you may find that they are supposed to be earned even if a company does not make profits. Therefore, with the cumulative shares, the dividends which are supposed to be earned, but in the due course a company makes a loss, the shares are extended to the next financial year. So with such shares, you may find that the shareholder is entitled to get dividends each year, regardless of whether a company has made losses. You may find that here shares are extended even in the next financial year. Yet for non-accumulative preference shares, here, once a company does not make profits, here the dividends are not extended to the next financial year because the company has not made profits, it has made losses. Therefore, how can a shareholder claim for dividends once a company has not made profits? Therefore, in such a case, once a company has not made profits in one way or the other, the shareholder is not entitled towards earning of dividends. Then we look at participating preference shares. So here you may find that if you are a shareholder having participating preference share, here you are entitled to a bonus. So a bonus is an extra of what you are supposed to earn. So in such a scenario, you may find that if a company has earned profits and it is supposed to give out dividends, in one way or the other, people having preference shares earn their dividends. After those people earning their dividends, also shareholders having ordinary shares also receive their dividends. Then the balance of the profits, you may find that a bonus is given to a person having participating preference share. So in one way or the other, you may find that that is the difference with other preference shares. With the participating preference share, the shareholder is entitled to a bonus. So you may find that those are the shares. Then we look at dividends. So when we look at dividends, refers to money borrowed by the company from the public. So you may find that a company may require more money Therefore, if a company requires more money, it can go to the public, it can go to institutions, it can go to individuals. Then they request money. They request institutions or people to borrow them money. So in such a situation, you may find that once money is given to a company, we tend to call that money a debenture. So in simple terms, a debenture is a unit of loan. Therefore, once debentures are given out, you may find that we also call them loan certificates, which are given by the company to a person or debenture holder or debenture holders in exchange for a loan. So a loan certificate is a confirmation that a particular person or an individual has been in position. So you may find that it is you, a company was able to give out a loan to a company. So let me ask our members, if you know some types of debentures, can you put up your hands and at least try to give in some of the types of debentures you may know? You may know. So you put up your hand. So you put up your hand. If you feel that at least there is a debenture, you know. Is there any person? Any person who may know any debenture, any type of debenture? Because as I've told you, a debenture is a unit of loan which is given out by an individual or an institution to a company, and in return, person is given what they call a loan certificate, an indication that someone or an institution was able to give or to lend out money to the company. Okay, if you may find that I don't have any person, let me move on to look at types of debentures. So those are types of debentures, and probably we have around 5 of them. We are having around 5 of them. Number one, we have what they call a naked debenture. A naked debenture. And why is it called a naked debenture? It is called a naked debenture because you may find that once such a debenture is issued out to the company, I can see Sheena is having the hand up. Do you have something to share with us, Sheena?
I have not understood the meaning of debentures.
You have not understood the meaning of the word debentures. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. So I said the debentures refers to money borrowed by the company from the public as a way of obtaining funds for operation. So you may find that the company wants to carry on operations, and in one way or the other, that company does not have enough money. As you, an individual, you can go and borrow from someone. Also, a company can go to another company to borrow money, or it can go to an entrepreneur who has enough money and it can borrow money from that person. So that money which has been borrowed by the company from the public is what we call a debenture or debentures. Are we there? So I have
Yes.
another person. Santi, any question?
I just wanted to give the types of debentures.
You can give as well.
Registered debenture.
Pardon?
Registered debenture.
Registered debenture. Can you tell us can you tell us about a registered debenture? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we are looking at one of the debentures, and that is the naked debenture. When I talk about a naked debenture, you may find that this is a debenture or debentures which are issued out, without security. So in simple terms, it is a debenture which is not secured. What does it mean? It means that if you are to borrow money from someone, a person may request you for something that if you fail to pay, that person will have to secure his or her money. So in simple terms, if an individual goes to a bank to borrow money, that person may take there a land title as a security that in case he fails to pay, then the bank will be in position to sell off the land to recover the money. Therefore, the same applies here, a naked debenture. So with here, you may find that a debenture is given without no security. So in one way or the other, you may find that the person who has decided to borrow money to a company is rest assured that the company will have paid back. Therefore, the company does not give him any security. So the debenture is not secured at all. Then we look at the mortgage debenture. A mortgage debenture, you may find that here, in one way or the other, the holder is given a security. So once you borrow a company gives you a security that in case a company fails to pay, you will be in a position to sell off that security and recover your money. A debenture holder sells off the security in order to recover the money. Why? Because companies have assets. You may find that the company has an extra land title somewhere. Therefore, if an institution borrows a company money, and in one way or the other, a company issues a security, like a land title to such a person, to such a debenture holder, the debenture holder can sell off that land title in order to recover his or her money. Then number 3, we have floating debenture. Floating debenture. So under floating debenture, you may find that here, in one way or the other, the debenture holder is also assured that in case the company fails to pay, the company will be in position to sell off one of its current assets. When we talk about current assets, these are items owned by the company, which can easily be turned into money. Are we there? So you may find that a company can be in position to sell off one of its current assets in order to recover the money of the debenture holder. Then we have redeemable debentures. Redeemable debentures are those which are bought back by the company after a specific time. So here you may find that the company may buy back those ones, those debentures in a particular period of time. Then there is also a redeemable debentures. We have irredeemable debentures. So irredeemable debentures, you may find that these ones cannot be bought back. So you may find that in one way or the other, once they expire, they are taken to the stock exchange market. So you may find that in one way or the other, these ones are just transferred to the stock exchange market, so that you may in one way or the other, the stock debentures, a stock exchange market, they can take up the roles in order to clear the debenture holder. So those are some of the debentures which you may find that they can easily be offered. They can easily be offered. Then we look at differences between shares and debentures. So you may find that one of the difference is that a share is a unit of capital, while a debenture is a unit of loan. So that is one of the common difference. Then number two, you may find that shareholders are paid dividends, while debenture holders are paid interest. What does it mean? It means that, as we said in the beginning, that if you are to contribute capital to a company, you buy shares. But once you buy those shares, what is the reward for your shares? The reward for your shares are dividends, or in simple terms, are the profits. While when it comes to debenture holders, once you lend out your money to a company, what do you expect from the company? You expect interest from the company for using your money. Then number three, shares are usually irredeemable, while debentures are redeemable. So what does it mean? So here in one way the other, shares have that money which we are able to use to buy shares. No, you cannot request for that money. If you want to get back your money, what you have to do is to get another person who is going to buy those shares, and then you get your money. But you cannot say, you just give me back my money. Yet you may find that debentures are usually redeemable. What does it mean? It means that you easily get back your money once the company clears that debt, clears the money which was lent to it. So you may find that those are some of the differences. So I'm going to request that in one way or the other to give me other differences which you can also think about. So supplement on those differences. I'm going to ask you to put up your hands and you supplement on such differences. Is there any difference? Fabian? Fabian? Pardon? Fabian? Fabian? I can see your hand up. Okay, any other person to give us? Fabian? Pardon, Fabian?
You've made a mistake.
Which mistake? Having your hand up. Stella? Stella?
I had
Yes.
a question.
Can
A shareholder like give the company a loan?
A shareholder. Okay. Yeah, a shareholder can also be in position to give a loan to what? To a company.
So is it safe to say that
No.
shares
shares are usually owned by shareholders, and debentures are usually given by other non-shareholders. How do I say debenture holders?
Okay, yeah. Also, that difference can come in. Are we there? Can also come in. It's okay. Thank you so much. Shina, I can see your hand is up.
Excuse me, I'm just shareholders a share in a company, while debenture holders don't have a share in a company.
Okay. Okay. So in order to have a clear point, we can say that most shareholders may have the right to vote in the affairs of the company. Yet debenture holders do not have any right when it comes to voting in the affairs of the company. Thank you so much. Another one, Linda. Linda, your hand was up. Any other person?
Excuse me, teacher.
You are excused.
Which subject and which class?
Entrepreneurship senior 2. Okay, another person, another difference? Another difference from you people? Okay, so because of time, you may find that another difference is that when the company ceases to exist, you may find that assets are sold off. Therefore, once assets are sold off, and you may find that debenture holders only are given back the money they were able to lend out to the company plus their interest. But shareholders, they can be in position to earn more money than even the shares they invested in the company. Noel, I can see your hand up.
Shareholders have like voting rights in a company, whereas debentures don't.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have already looked at that. Yeah, you may find that shareholders have voting rights, yet you may find that in one way or the other, debenture holders don't have voting rights. So thank you so much. Then we look at advantages of public companies. So you may find that one of them, large sums of capital, enables large-scale production. So you may find that here, public companies have a chance in order to operate on large scale. For example, you look at Vision Group of companies. They are producing reasonable newspapers, New Vision, Bukedde, newspapers, Lupini, and so on. They have TV stations. You talk about Urban, you talk about Bukedde 1, Bukedde 2, you talk about Western TV. They have also radio stations. So it is because of large sums of capital. Then, number 2, a company has continued existence. So what does it mean? Even if one of the shareholders passes away, the company will continue to exist. Then number 3, a company is better placed to raise greater amount of capital through the sale of shares. So here, what does it mean? A company is in position to have more money through selling shares. For example, now MTN, you may look at MTN as the #1 company we are having in Uganda. But however, now it is placed in a position that it is going to have more money, as Mr. Dumba informed you that they are now selling shares at only 200. What does it mean? It means that it is going to accumulate more money. Why? It has tried to position itself to have more capital form. You may find that shares are freely transferable. What does it mean? If you have shares in a public company, you can sell those shares to any person. You can freely sell your shares to any person, which is not the case with private limited companies, where you shareholders before. He requests that you add on those points because I've given you only 4, but they are more advantages. Mwesigwa, I can see your hand up. It seems you want to supplement on those advantages. Any other person, you can have your hand up to supplement on those advantages. Let me have you people contributing. Time is out. Mwesigwa.
Yes, sir. I was asking, like, do we have a timetable? Because I've just joined. Sorry to ask. Maybe I'm replying a wrong question, but just wanted to get the timetable.
We have a timetable. You have it on your Google Classroom WhatsApp. Any other person?
Okay, thank you.
Any other person? You're welcome. Any other person to supplement on those advantages? Stella?
Thank you, teacher. But I also had a question.
Stella?
Yes, I also had a question. This share that the MTN are selling at 2 shillings.
You are not so clear.
Yes? Hello?
Ask.
Yes,
I can hear you.
I was asking. These people who are selling shares at 2 shillings. How big is that? Like, which percentage is it in the shares of the company? Is it like 0.01? Because I get how some is like a share for 2.
Okay. So it seems you want to know details about that. So you get the information. Basically, if you visit the website of MTN, so I cannot go in details right now. Linda, I can see your hand up.
I have a question.
Linda, supplement. You ask. Be very fast.
I have a question. Debentures, the same as irredeemable debentures that are non-redeemable debentures, the same as irredeemable debentures.
Repeat. Linda, be clear. You are not clear.
Asking that. I was asking that non-redeemable debentures, are they the same as irredeemable debentures?
Yeah, they are the same. They are the same. Shina, supplement on advantages.
Excuse me, teacher. Explanation. Third point.
Okay, third point. Let me explain. I may find that I told you that a company it can be in position to sell shares to other people so that to increase capital. As I've given you an example of MTN, right now they are selling shares at only 200. Meaning that they have that chance to add on the capital they have. So because of time, we move on disadvantages of public control over the company. So shareholders for them, they just stop at voting. So you may find that they do not have direct control over the company. So directors are in charge of controlling the company. Then number 2, formation requires long and expensive procedures. So forming a company, it takes reasonable time. And at the same time, you may find that the procedures are expensive. Because if you are to prepare such documents, you need lawyers, which lawyers can charge you reasonable amount of money. Then number 4, decision making takes a slow pace and expensive, because you may find that there is a board of directors. Therefore, any decision to be taken, all those directors have to agree so that a decision is taken. However, it is also expensive because to have meetings, you may find that such people, it is not easy to have them on board. You have to give them sitting allowance and what have you. And facilitation, like when it comes to transport, the fuel they have used, you have to pay for such arrangements. Then number 4, there is no privacy, since the balance sheet in one way or the other must be read to the public. So with public company, a balance sheet has to be prepared, and in one way or the other, it has to be published so that the public gets to know the financial status of the company. So can you supplement on those 4 disadvantages as we are winding up? Esther, I can see your hand up. Supplement on those disadvantages. We are short of time. Esther, supplement. Stella,
Yes,
supplement.
the company, a public company has unlimited liability to different kinds of risk.
Pardon?
A public company has unlimited liability to different kinds of risk.
Okay, nice try. Another person? Another person? Another person? Another person? So you may find that here, in one way or the other, the interests of shareholders may conflict. Are we there? Then Sheena also has something. Sheena? Okay, you may find that another disadvantage is that a company may grow too big. In one way or the other, it becomes challenging to manage.
I just wanted to know.
Your network. To know what?
Teacher, I thought shareholders also have Teacher, shareholders also have company. I thought shareholders.
You are not clear. I think you can text as well. So you may find that often the success of the company is judged according to the way it has earned profits, but not necessarily with the well-being or the working conditions of the workers. So with that, you may find that is the assignment which training days. Today we mark the end of our lessons, and probably next week you will be in position to write your exams. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel Christian Schools Owners Association in order to have even the lessons which you missed some time back. We shall have our videos uploaded so that continuously you'll have the lessons moving on. However much we shall not have them as we have been having them, but all in all, we shall have recorded videos. However, I would like to thank Edify for such an organized way to have lessons moving on online, and also Christian Schools Owners Association for coordinating such an arrangement, and even ICT Teachers Association to ensure that each and everything tends to move on as organized. So thank you so much for attending the lesson. Any person with a question?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Dumba, back to you.
Bye.
What I was supposed to
Bye,
communicate,
teacher.
you have already communicated.
Bye, teacher.
Sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're welcome. Let me request one person to give us a
Bye, teacher.
closing prayer
Bye,
as we are winding up. Angela, give us the closing prayer. Any person to give us a closing prayer? Fabian, are you giving us a closing prayer? Isabella, are you giving us a closing prayer? Any person to give us a closing prayer as we are winding up? As we are winding up? Any person? Okay. Give us a closing prayer. Actually, give us a closing prayer. Actually, give us a closing prayer.
Loving Father, I want to thank you for the lesson we just had. We want to thank you for our child who taught us today. May we understand it. We thank you for everything that you have had today. We thank you for the lesson we had. And we pray to may bless each and every person who has attended this lesson. I've prayed for this. I trust in the Son Jesus Christ. We prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. I wish you a lovely day. Revise coming.